listening to the Babe in the Bunker, Barbara Simpson, on Hot Talk 560 KSFO.
Well, you'll be happy to know that FedEx located that 20-pound package of radioactive materials that they temporarily misplaced over the holiday. They found it sitting in a warehouse in Knoxville, Tennessee. So, if you were if you were awaiting your shipment of a 20-pound canister filled with radioactive materials for your dirty bomb, the FedEx has located it. You should be getting it shortly. 808-5600, Joe in Santa Rosa. You're on KSFO. Mark in for Barbara. How are you?
Mark, I'm fantastic. Thank you for taking my call.
Glad to have you with us.
I don't have any notes written or anything, so I'm just going to freestyle about this TSA stuff. I have a few questions, and it sounds like you're really knowledgeable, so I'm kind of more asking your opinion than anything else. The Christmas bomber, the guy who had the bomb in his underpants,
yes,
was he? It seems to me that he was the reason that they justified all of these thermal imaging scanners, because his underpants bomb could not have been detected by any other means of security. Is that correct?
That is what they're telling us, yes.
Okay. Now, it strikes me as strange that 3 days after the underwear bomber, they had these machines lined up and ready to go into several airports. I mean, it takes a long time to build and ship and order these things, so they must have known way before the fact that this was going to happen.
Well, that kind of... It kind of comes when you're George Soros, Michael Chertoff, and Alphonse D'Amato, you kind of have an inside track in that sort of thing.
Well, now which brings me to my next question. The underpants bomber was in direct communication with the gentleman who is right now number one on the capture or kill list from Al-Qaeda. His name is Anwar al-Awlaki. Are you familiar with him?
Yes, I am, yes.
Okay, he's also the gentleman that the Fort Hood shooter was corresponding with directly.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And he is also the gentleman that another, the shoe bomber, the guy who was trying to detonate his explosives with the lighter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, last time I checked, Al-Qaeda was smart enough to know that they would need a detonator cap for that type of explosive, so what he was doing with the lighter makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
My point is, all three of these terrorists that the TSA is using for justification to strip away our constitutional rights were all communicating with Anwar al-Awlaki. Mm-hmm. And this gentleman had dinner at the Pentagon 2 months after September 11th. Now, doesn't that strike you as strange?
Well, yeah, the close ties between Islamic terror and White Houses of both parties really take your breath away.
Mark, this is a tough one for people to discuss, but at the time, he was number 3 on the capture or kill list, and he's dining at the Pentagon.
Well,
so she had to let him in.
We also don't forget. Yasser Arafat slept in the Lincoln bedroom, and we give this year we give $800 million of our money this year to Hamas. We've been giving money to terrorists since at least the Clinton administration.
Well, to go even farther back, Osama bin Laden worked for the CIA all through Russia's invasion of Afghanistan, and we were best friends with him during that time. But as soon as Russia, tucked their tail between their legs and headed out of there like we're going to pretty soon, all of a sudden Osama bin Laden was a bad guy.
Do you remember the investigative journalist Jack Anderson? Remember that guy?
No, I do not.
He was a big-time investigative journalist in the 1950s through the 1990s, and he died a very old man. He was one of Nixon's worst nightmares. In fact, he told me, I had dinner with him in 1995 or 1994, and he told me then that the Mujahideen that we had been arming and funding and using as surrogates against the Soviets in Afghanistan only hated one group of people in the world more than the Russians, and that was us. And that with the Russians out of Afghanistan, we were going to have hell to pay. And he told me that the bombing of the World Trade Center in 1993 was only just the trial run.
See, I'm growing more and more skeptical of these perennial boogeymen that they keep throwing in front of us, these terrorists who have no uniform that they wear, but justify them stripping away all of our rights. If Anwar al-Awlaki is dining with the Pentagon, and all of the terrorists who have been, coming so close to exploding these planes have been communicating directly with Anwar al-Awlaki, it seems to me like the CIA is putting these stooges onto these planes with bombs that won't go off.
Oh, I know, and it makes you almost feel it makes you feel almost crazy to even think it, let alone say it out loud. And let me tell you something. Just a few years ago, I would have said you were nuts, but right now, I don't know. You give me pause to think. Listen, I got to go for the top of the hour. I appreciate your call, 808-5600. More on the Muslim who tried to blow up the Christmas celebration in Oregon. That's coming up next on Hot Talk 560.